Hey everybody, this is Whitney. So I was sitting here thinking about back in 2017 when I was recently separated from my husband after shortly getting married. I got to a place where I told God how I just wanted him to do it. I was like, Lord, I want to see what it looks like when you do it. I want to see what it looks like when you put a relationship together. I want to see what it looks like when you bring the person that I'm supposed to have in my life. I want to see what it looks like when you do it. That's what I told him. And I meant that. I was tired of going around in circles, trying to find love, trying to manipulate my way into relationships, because that's exactly what I had done. Is what I did in my marriage as well. I tried to manipulate God into blessing a relationship that he had already told me wasn't from him. But we'll get into that at another time. And I remember when it didn't work, and when I finally surrendered to God, I said, I want to see what it looks like when you do it. Unbeknownst to me, I would be sitting here almost 8 years later, single, still, right? And abstinent, of course. And my desire to be abstinent honestly initially came from me just wanting to be in a place where I could be with somebody without giving my body away, you know? I could be in a relationship without going there, because that's all I've ever done. And so that was the beginning of my abstinent journey. It was my reason, let's lay off the laying down for a little bit, okay? And let's see if I'm more than that. So I didn't know at the time that my request to see what it looks like when God does it, that was a part of his will for me. I didn't know that at the time making the decision to be abstinent was a part of his will for me. I knew, holiness and righteousness, of course. But at that time, I wasn't thinking, well, this is God's will and all of that. Of course it was. But in my mind, I'm just trying to find another route, to see what works. And I didn't know that I would literally be putting myself in the place of being in God's will. I didn't know at the time that I was coming into a season where God wanted me fully to himself anyway. I didn't realize that, unbeknownst to me, I was avoiding a season in time with God that he was going to ultimately get. And I remember years down the line, maybe 2 or 3, and God said to me, I want you to spend intentional, uninterrupted time with me. And at the time it was like, okay, God, okay. But as time has gone on, God literally meant intentional, uninterrupted time. Of course, for a long time, he didn't let anybody, come my way, ask me out, like me. I thought something was wrong with me, to be honest with you. I'm like, Lord, what is it? But I will say the 2 or 3 that he has allowed, to come in my face. It didn't even last. It don't last 2 weeks, of trying to figure this out and trying to see what this is. It doesn't last. And I remember saying, well, Lord, what's the problem? What's wrong with me? And ever so often he reminds me, intentional, uninterrupted. If I've called you into an intentional, uninterrupted place, I'm going to make sure that is intentional with you and that is not interrupted by you or anybody else. And, we know them as being the counterfeits. But I'm learning in this season that God is bringing me out of being the counterfeit when it comes to being who he's called me to be, as opposed to being who I won't say transformed, but metamorphosed into being for the sake of being accepted and all of these different things. And what that grew in me and made me manipulate my way into all these different relationships that God didn't call me to be in. That was the gist of it. Yeah. I didn't know that God was about to take me on a ride, man, of what felt like isolation, separation, like there's something wrong with me. But in all honesty, it's been God changing and transforming me into who he's called me to be. First for him, and later for who he has called me to be with. And so I'm still here in this intentional, uninterrupted time. I love my abstinence journey. It ain't easy now. Lord help me, okay? It ain't easy by far. But I believe that I am precious. I believe that, my body is only meant for the man that God has called me to be with. And I appreciate God taking the time to show me my worth in these almost 8, matter of fact, it'll be 8 years this year that I've been abstinent. And I couldn't say it before. And even over these years, I haven't been able to say it all the time. But now in this honest place, I appreciate God for this. I appreciate God for bringing me into this place where he takes his time with me. Lonely, absolutely. At times, trying to figure out when is my husband coming in? When are you going to send him? But ultimately, leaning into this intimate place where God has called him and I into, and showing me just how important I am enough that he would seclude time just for him and I. Because there was a time where I didn't think I was good enough for people, let alone God. I always loved God. But when God started showing me, you're so good enough for me that I'll carve out time for us to spend together. Time where we're not just together, but there's a transformation taking place in your body, in your soul, in your mind, in everything concerning you. And you can only get that in me, with me, and from me. And so I'm grateful for this. I am happy that God chose me. And I believe in this place, God is fighting for me. He's fighting for me to, number one, continue to grow and learn in my worth and in who he's called me to be, even though it's been 8 years and I feel like, okay, God, time up. I think I know. I think I know who I am now, and my worth now, but I appreciate God for this. So I pray that you get to a place to where if you are going through the same thing, if this video comes across your feed and God allows you to get this far in the video, I pray that if God has put you in a place of intentional, uninterrupted time, lean into it, man. Lean into it. You ain't got no choice. You can prolong it, But if you know God is calling you into an intimate place with him, I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. You'll learn you'll learn him. I have my days, I do. But more than anything, I appreciate this place. And I appreciate God for this opportunity. So, intentional, uninterrupted time, not about a spouse, not about another person, but about me. And I thank God for showing me that's what it should have been in the first place. Me and him. So I will see y'all in the next video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you agree, leave me a comment. And yeah, we're gonna do this. The season of singleness. Let's get it. Almost 8 years of this abstinence thing. So see y'all in the next video.